2626, this is 6.
Our units in the field have been calling in for artillery support all day. I bet we fired at least 1,000 rounds in the last few hours.
Like all fire support bases, Firebase Gym provides artillery cover for American or South Vietnamese infantry units in the field. When these troops come under attack, they depend upon nearby fire bases for survival.
Come sunset, things die down. But we're still on full alert.
Not surprisingly, enemy forces launch the majority of their attacks at night, under the cover of dark. Fire bases, such as Gym, are considered primary targets. And since the bases are immobile, the VC have ample time to scope out any weaknesses.
We may own the day, but the North
Vietnamese, the Viet Cong, they owned the night. That was their time. I always felt that that's when the advantage went over to them, because then a lot of the modern weaponry and techniques that we had just didn't apply to the nighttime. And at night was when we were most aware that we were very vulnerable.
Some nearby bases got hit last night, so everyone's on edge. Me and 5 other guys are assigned to guard duty at the fire control bunker. Our orders are to radio in coordinates as soon as a target's spotted. Although, right now, I'm so tense I can barely talk. All of a sudden, I hear an explosion on top of the bunker.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what it was, but I could see a very nervous look on the faces of some of the others, and I heard somebody say it sounded like an RPG going off, a rocket-propelled grenade. All of a sudden, this terror just goes through everybody, you know. I heard somebody yell, "There are dinks in the wire." Exploded, I think, right next to my feet, and that's the one that hit me. And it literally picked me a couple of feet right up off the ground and slammed me back down. And then I could feel a lot of pain.
A lot of pain up and down the left side of my body. When I look over at my left arm, it's a mangled, bloody mess. It's the last thing I remember before blacking out.
By dawn, the attack on Firebase Gym is over. As usual, the enemy withdraws at first light when American firepower is once again most effective.
When I open my eyes, a bunch of guys are cheering for me. Kind of like a football player who's been hurt on the field. He's now being carried off to the yells and screams of the crowd. And as we lift off, a calm starts to come over me. I can see out the side door that the morning sun is starting to set in. Kind of a purplish red sky. And all I can think to myself is, I'm alive. For me, this craziness is over.
In the fall of 1969, the anti-war movement is heating up. On October 15th, more than 1 million people across the country, in both small towns and large cities, participate in the Vietnam moratorium demonstrations.
It's the time of the season when love runs high. In this time, give it to me easy, and let me try with pleasured hands to take you in the sun.
Meanwhile, even though the total number of troops is starting to be reduced, the military still needs men to fill its ranks, and a draft to meet that need. For years, local draft boards have been widely criticized for a deferment policy that gives preference to students and the wealthy. So, on December 1st, 1969, the Selective Service holds its first draft lottery since World War II.
June 25th.
366 plastic balls, each marked with a different birth date, including February 29th, are drawn to determine a completely random draft order for men between the ages of 19 and 25.
July 4, 279.
Dashing through the snow, in one horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way.
The children have been the happiest I've seen them since Ben left. It actually even feels like Christmas this year.
Ann Purcell and her family are celebrating their first holiday since learning her husband, Ben, is among the approximately 400 known prisoners of war being held in North Vietnam.
Ever since we got the news about Ben, all the children think he'll be coming home soon. My daughter,
So
Debbie, is
was
even
just
convinced that we're going to
convinced
get a
that
letter
we were
at
going to
Christmas.
get a letter at Christmas. And she would go to the mailbox every day. It just broke my heart. I just wanted to cry. And I said, Debbie, you know, I hope we get mail, but I just don't want you to just be there every day and agonize over this. And I guess I agonized over it as much as she did. But she still went every day. And she was so disappointed that we didn't get one.
It breaks my heart to see her so disappointed. But even more, it makes me realize that I've actually got to do something. I can't just sit back and hope anymore. I've got to do whatever it takes to make my family whole again.
Cruising down these rivers, I'm surrounded by people who still live like they're in the Stone Age. You can almost forget that we're in the middle of a war zone. Although that's the best way to get yourself killed. Because out here, everything can change in a second, and you never see it coming.
Gary Benedetti and his crew have been patrolling in the Mekong Delta for the past 12 months. Their current assignment is to pick up a group of Navy SEALs who have come under attack by the Viet Cong. They're on board what's known as an Alpha boat, which is specifically designed to withstand underwater explosions.
The further we go, the narrower the river gets, to the point where it's less than 100 feet across. And you're looking expecting to get shot
at any time, and you can't see anything because all you can see is jungle. You can't see beyond the jungle because it's really thick. So you're kind of going down there, and you're wondering what
what's
happens.
happening. You're expecting it at any time. Suddenly, we're taking sniper fire from the shoreline. Everybody opens up. You don't even know what the hell you're shooting. You just keep shooting. Over the radio, I hear the commander screaming, "Ceasefire! Ceasefire! This is Jester Alpha! Ceasefire!" When the smoke finally clears, we can see what we've hit. It's a little village full of people, all dead. I can feel my blood start to boil. Because, you know, the VC, they do this on purpose. They hide behind these people, and then they fire on us, because they know we'll fire back. It's their way of making sure the civilians don't trust us. In a few more weeks, I'll be going home. When I do, I sure as hell hope the South Vietnamese can pick up the slack. Because judging from how these VC treat these people, God help them if they can't.
In Paris, peace talks between North and South Vietnam, the Viet Cong, and the United States are deadlocked. After nearly 2 years, almost all that has been agreed upon is the shape of the negotiating table. Hoping to speed up the process, National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger begins secret meetings with North Vietnamese negotiator Le Duc Tho. Meanwhile, Nixon's Vietnamization program is being slowly but steadily implemented. Throughout the country, U.S. troops are handing over equipment, bases, and years of military knowledge to the South Vietnamese.
It's going to be a shambles. There are good ARPANs, don't get me wrong, there are some really crack outfits, but the rest of them, I don't want any part of it. It's going to be bad. Can't get the support now. What's it going to be like when there's less and less of us?
As it becomes clear that America's goal is no longer full-fledged military victory, but instead an honorable exit from Vietnam, the morale of troops is affected.
This stuff smells pretty strong. It is. This is really nice stuff over here.
And you empty it out and you stick the bowl in the barrel, blow into the bowl, and when it comes out, you get really stoned.
I picked a hell of a time to come back to this country.